right, Brummy Babby here. Today we're going to recreate a 1972 cookery lesson from school for scones with Mrs. B. And first things first, before we've even washed our hands, I have to point out it is only for the girls, because back in 1972 boys weren't even allowed to do cookery at school. They did metal work and woodwork. So girls, when we've washed our hands and we've got our clean pinnies on, yes Rachel, your mum's still washing your pinny, all right, I'm sure we've got one you can borrow. Now then, let's check our list of ingredients. I sent you home last week, didn't I girls, with a little list of ingredients. Wendy, I beg your pardon. Oh, your mum couldn't afford it. Never mind, I'm sure we can have a whip round for you. Oh, you haven't forgotten your basket, Katie, have you? Never mind. I don't know. Now then, first of all is 8 ounces of plain flour. You could use self-raising, but I prefer to use plain flour for scones with about a teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, which makes them rise just enough. We've got 4 ounces of sugar, caster sugar mine, not granulated, that's a bit coarse. We want a nice fine sugar. We've got 1 egg, which I've already got in here, and in a bit I'm going to whisk it. 1 egg and a little splash of milk, which I've just got in here, a couple of tablespoons of milk. And last of all, but very important, is your fat. Now, I like to use butter, but I know many of you and your mums like lard, and that's fine because it does come up nice and crisp as lard, but I like the buttery taste in a scone myself. So, what we're going to do in a minute is cut it into little squares, but there's a golden rule, girls, isn't there, about fat and flour? What is it? Half fat to flour, that's it. So if you have got 8 ounces of flour, that means how many ounces of butter do we have? 4. Well done, 4 ounces. If we had 6 ounces of flour, Rachel, how many ounces of butter would we need? No, not 2. Anybody else? Katie? 3, that's right. Half fat to flour is the rule. Now let's get started. I've got my bowl here, and I've also got a sieve, because we're going to sieve the flour, the baking soda and the salt all together. It makes it nice and light. I'm going to tip it in, tip my flour in. I'm going to put just a pinch, about half a teaspoon or so of baking powder in there. Right, that's gone in. And just a pinch of salt. Now I've got a very modern salt cellar here, which back in 1972 it wouldn't have looked like this. This is a battery operated one. Pinch of salt. If you haven't got one of these, it doesn't matter, just a little handful of salt. And then we're going to sieve it together like this. In it goes. Can you see how fine that's looking now, girls? Oh, don't get it everywhere, Wendy. Mind, keep your workstation nice and clean, that's it. Nice and tidy. I like a tidy worker. So now we've got our sieved flour, salt and baking powder in there. The next thing I'm going to do is chop up the butter, and we're just going to add it in little squares to the sieved flour. Now this is why it's very important to have clean hands, because we're going to rub it in by hand now. It's called rubbing in, that's it. And the idea is that when you're rubbing it into the flour, you make it look like breadcrumbs, so it goes all crumbly. So you're going to lift it up. If I can just show you, you're only going to use your fingertips, girls. If you get the flour past your 3rd knuckle, you're going too far up your hand, because your hands are nice and warm and it will melt the butter. So we just use our fingertips, all right, so off we go. And as you're mixing it together like this, lift the flour to keep it aerated. So here we go, we're going to mix it together like this so it looks like breadcrumbs. It takes a few minutes, this part of it, but it's the fun bit, isn't it? Getting your hands in here. Oh, that's it. Mind, Rachel, not all over. We don't want flour flicked all over Candice, do we? No, all right, Candice, go and get a tissue. Make sure you wash your hands. Oh, I don't know. That's it. Keep it nice and light. Oh dear, look. You know what I've done? I've gone past my 3rd knuckle, golden rule. I'll have to slap my own wrist. Keep going. Nice and light. And When you're mixing, try and mix from your thumb through to your fingertips like this. That sort of action, and that helps make it, the mixture, like breadcrumbs. That's it. Keep going, girls. Now stop flicking it. No, we're not going to do that. What would your mum say, Rachel, if you came home and you hadn't made them? She'd be upset, wouldn't she? She's looking forward to a scone for her tea. Now then, let's get it all mixed together. Can you see? Now it's beginning to look like breadcrumbs, but we want to keep going. Oh dear, Wendy, have you got it on your Mount of Venus? You don't want it up that high because your Mount of Venus is very warm, isn't it? And it will melt your butter. Try and keep it just to your third knuckle. That's it. No, it's not the rub in. That's a dance, isn't it? The rub up is a dance, I mean. Rubbing in like that. All right, now we're nearly done. No, it's not the rub up. I've heard of that. It's a rather lewd dance, isn't it? But we're not talking about that at school cookery lessons, are we? We're rubbing in. Right, can you see mine's beginning to look like breadcrumbs now? Don't over rub. Don't over rub, girls, because if you do that, you'll get big lumps. And we don't want big lumps, do we? Now, so here we go. So now I'm going to tip in the sugar, 4 ounces. In it goes. I'm going to use a metal spoon, stir it all in. That's it, so it's all combined together nicely. And now I'm just going to whisk my egg. That's it, girls, whisk your eggs nice and light. That's it, don't slop it out, Rachel, keep it in the bowl. And into that I'm also going to put a couple of tablespoons of milk. That's it, it makes him nice and light. So there goes one in there. Let's just bring that over so you can see. And one in there, a couple of tablespoons, 2 or 3 of milk. That's it. Keep on whisking. Nice whisk like that. Good, and now we're going to make, let's show you better with 2 eggs. In the middle of your pastry here, what will be pastry, you're going to make a little well. That's it, like a little well in the middle. We're going to pour our egg, beaten egg and milk into the well. That's it. Can you see it now? All in there together. And we're going to combine it all together with your palette knife. Oh, you haven't forgotten your palette knife, have you? Oh, I don't know, Wendy. What am I going to do with you? Mix it all together. Can you see? Then in a minute we're going to get our hands really mucky. Right, here we go, girls. Tip it up and use your hands to combine it all together. It's all nice and squidgy. If you find it's a little bit sticky, you can always add a little bit more flour, can't you? Just a little bit more, but mine seems all right at this point. So we're just going to combine it. I'm going to just stand up a bit. Combine it all together, and then we're going to tip it out onto our clean board, and we're going to roll it into a ball. So, that's it. I've got it all together now. I'm going to stand up. I'm sorry you can't see me. Just for a minute. I'm just going over here to get my flour. 1 minute, because I've left it in my cupboard. There it is. I've come back with my flour, girls. I'm just going to add a little sprinkle more, because it's a little bit wet. Maybe I've put a bit too much milk in. If you have done that, girls, it's all right. You can salvage it by adding a bit more flour. Right, this is looking really good now. Can you see? It's forming a nice dough. So what we're going to do, oh, look at my fingers. Now don't lick your fingers, Daphne. That's not hygienic, is it? We're going to put a bit of flour on my rolling out board. And then we're going to take the dough out of the bowl. And we're going to put it down on our floured board, girls. That's it. Oh dear, Wendy, try not to get your flour all over the floor, girl. Dearie me. Right, let's move that bowl out of the way because we finished with that for a bit. Right, we're going to turn our dough into a ball, ready to roll out. Now, if you've got too much flour on your board, it doesn't matter because we'll clean that up in a minute. But you don't want your dough to stick. Right, we've got a nice little ball of dough. Can you see that, girls? All right, now then we're going to roll it out. I'll just get all that sticky dough off my fingers for a minute. Alright, here we go. Now, you've got your little ball of dough, should be about that size. We're going to roll it out about 1/4 of an inch thick. Any littler than that, and you'll have little thin scones, and we don't want that. We want nice big thick scones. So let's keep rolling it like this. Right, that's about, oh, that's made a nice noise. That's about right, about 1/4 of an inch thick. Then you get your pastry cutter, and we're going to cut out our circles. So they're nice and thick, like that. All right? And then I've got ready over here a little board, a baking tray. It's got a little bit of butter on it so they don't stick. And we're going to lay them on there, ready to pop in the oven. All right, I'm just going to cut out a couple more. Yes, Rachel, you haven't got any dough. You've eaten your dough. Well, you'll get a tummy ache. I've got no sympathy. Now, I've got a bit of dough left over here, so I'm just going to roll it around again like this. Pat it down, make it, don't forget, you want it quite a thick dough. That's it, a bit more flour because it's sticking a bit, isn't it? Right, I'm going to roll it out again, 1/4 of an inch thick, mind. And let's cut out another scone. I bet these will be delicious. Right, there's another one. I'm going to just put it on my baking tray here. I've got 4 so far. I should be able to get about 6 out of this dough. Let's have another go. I'm just going to pat it like that. Stop eating it. Wendy, take that finger out of your nose right now and go wash your hands. That's disgusting, that is. Right, keep rolling. I've got one more here. Cut it. That's it. Trim off all the excess pastry. I've got another one here. Popping it on my tray. And I think I can get about one more. Now this dough's getting a little bit tacky, so I'm putting a little bit more flour on it. That's it. One more roll. Here we go. Might be a slightly smaller one, this one. Slightly thinner one. But I've got just enough there. Excellent. Now we've got our 6. Oh dear, you've dropped yours on the floor. You can't pick it up and eat it now. You'll have to start again in a minute. What am I going to do with you? Right, this is popping in the oven. I've got the oven on at about 425 degrees Fahrenheit. That's in old money. In new money, it's about 200 degrees Celsius. All right. This is going in the top shelf of the hot oven for about, just about 10 minutes. You have to keep a close eye on it. Make sure they rise. So I'm going to stop recording now, just while I clear up. And then we'll have a look at the scones in about 10 minutes, girls. Can't wait. All right, bye for now.